Hi my friends, welcome back to KTB Creates. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kim and this is where I like to showcase my DIY creations, my trash to treasures. I do enjoy sharing tips and tricks and different ways to decorate your home and make it something unique and beautiful while remaining on a budget. So if you're interested in things like that, please go ahead and click that subscribe button and join my family. I also encourage you to head on over to Instagram and follow me over there. That's where I share a little bit more of personal information about me and different things that I'm working on behind the scenes, as well as I'd love you to tag me in any projects that you're doing or DIY projects and things like that so I can see what you're up to as well. So in today's video, we're gonna go ahead and get into some fall DIYs. So I'm gonna show you a couple DIYs using Dollar Tree products. So I'm all about staying on a budget and creating beautiful things with minimal amount of money spent. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. So for DIY number one, you will need a silver plastic ice bucket from the Dollar Tree, as well as this sign or something of the similar size from Dollar Tree. The little pumpkin wood cutouts would also look adorable. So you're gonna first take just one of those square signs, and then I'm gonna paint it with 2 coats of my linen white chalk paint. And also you're gonna want to make sure that you do get all of the sides of the sign because that will be visible on the bucket. Then once that's all dry, I'm just using a decal that I made with my Cameo, but you can also use Dollar Tree stickers, freehand-it, or use, a printable that you print off from your computer. They will all work just fine. I applied that, and then once I did that, I felt like it needed a little bit more. So I just took a black Sharpie and I just added some squiggly lines around the sides just to give it an added touch. And then while you're painting all of that, I went ahead and I spray painted the silver bucket in black. You could also paint it with chalk paint if that's what you prefer, but the spray painting is just a little bit easier. And then I just took some of this burlap ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I am just going to hot glue that and wrap it around the bucket. You do want to make sure that it lays flat, so that's why it's kind of at an angle in the back, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the bucket that way. You're also going to want to add a small little dab of hot glue on the front of the bucket because the ribbon, if you don't do that, the ribbon kind of keeps falling or slipping downward. So it'll just help it stay in place a little bit better. Then once you do that, you're all set to go ahead and hot glue your finished sign onto the front of the bucket. Then I just grabbed some additional pumpkins, and these are some things that I had left over from last year as well as this year that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to fill the bucket with a bunch of plastic bags just to save some space and not have to use too much material in there, because I am going to put the Spanish moss right on the top layer. And then I'm just going to go ahead and arrange the little pumpkins however I see fit until I like the way that they look. After arranging everything and going back and forth a little bit, I decided to add some floral picks to it. I used the little pomegranate picks that you can get at the Dollar Tree. I love them, and they add such a cute touch to any display. So I am just going to add them into this display wherever there's like an empty space or the pumpkin doesn't work. And then to hold everything together, I'm just going to apply some hot glue just in little dabs here and there, just so I can, take it apart if I eventually want to, because I do like to reuse my projects. So you will see me do that. So like I said, I'm going to use these pomegranate sticks, and I'm just cutting them out individually and sticking them in to fill up the blank spaces within the centerpiece. And here it is, all complete. I love the way this came out, and it adds such a cute little touch on any table or space within your home, just to add a cute little fall touch. As always, with all my DIYs, I love to hear what your thoughts are on them and which one is your favorite. So please go ahead and comment down below. I always love to hear from you. So DIY number 2. I last year was totally obsessed with these little houses that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and I was so mad because I was unable to find them. So this year, as soon as I saw that they were available, I ordered a whole box of them. So you'll be seeing these in a lot of my videos. So what I'm doing is I'm taking 4 houses of the same exact size and shape, and then I'm going to take one of those foil cookie sheet pans. So I'm simply going to trace the shape of the house out on the cookie foil sheet. You do only need 1 sheet because what I realized was when I started cutting them, it's actually like double layered. So all I'm going to be doing with these is applying them to the back of the houses to give it a galvanized metal look. So like I said, we're going to have 4 houses. So then you're just going to cut that, and you'll see here where I show you that it actually is double layered. So you get all 4 pieces from 1 cookie sheet. So next I'm going to trim just a little bit more to obviously make them fit perfectly inside the shape. So you could just keep trimming the sides until you get the correct dimension. And then you can use that 1 piece as your template for the other houses. Next, I'm going to take my chalk paint again in white, and I'm going to paint all the inside edges of each of the house, as well as the outer edges and all of the trim. As far as the paper pattern on the inside of the house, I just did a quick coat around the edge of that, just in case there was a little gap where I'm going to put the cookie sheet and the design here, so it didn't show through. So you want to do 2 or 3 coats of this as well. Once you're done with that, I took some Waverly Antique Wax, and I am just gently applying. I'm kind of doing a dry brush technique and applying that to all edges just to give it a little bit of a weathered, worn type of look. So you need very little paint on your brush to do this. And I use an old, you see this here, just an old regular paintbrush that the bristles are kind of like worn on. And I feel like that gives the best look for dry brushing. So I always use the same brush when dry brushing. So find your favorite, make sure it's nice and worn in, and that'll be your go-to for dry brushing. Now comes making the tin look like galvanized metal. So my method for this is I typically use one of the makeup sponges that I buy at the Dollar Tree, and then I layer on a gray paint, a metallic silver paint, and then some white. So that's my technique. I know everybody kind of does something different, and I just kind of pounce it on all over the place in different layers. There's no rhyme or reason as to which goes first. I just kind of keep doing it and layering the colors until I am happy with the way it looks. So here I'm showing you a little trick. I did mark each back of the house as well as the back of the foil to make sure I was putting the right foil in the right house, because the houses aren't perfectly symmetrical. They're not all made the same. And since you used one as a template, you want to make sure you're applying the correct piece to the correct house. So that's all I'm showing you there. And then I just simply took my hot glue and just applied it around the edges and stuck that right into my house. What you're going to want to do, you'll see me do next, you're going to want to do this before you actually put these pieces in the houses. What I did was I took some Waverly antique wax, and I just brushed it on all of the edges around the house just to look like, give it a little bit of like a rust type look. I didn't think about that until after I put the first piece in the first house. So just a shout out, you want to do that before you go ahead and glue it into your houses. So now it's time to glue all of the pieces together. Again, this could be a little bit challenging because they're not all made very straight. So you're going to want to do 2 pieces at a time, let them dry, and then you're going to put all 4 pieces together. So you're going to want to use your wood glue to glue them together, and then grab clamps of some sort to clamp those together. So next, I decided to show you how you could work with the stickers at the Dollar Tree rather than using my vinyl. So here I'm just taking these letters that you can find at the Dollar Tree, and I am just dry brushing some white chalk paint onto the letters that I'm going to use to spell out fall. And it's just because I didn't want them to be like really stark black letters. I kind of wanted them to be aged a little bit. So that's what I am doing here. And then once I did that, my 2 pieces were dried. So now you're going to use your wood glue, and you're going to glue the top 2 pieces to the bottom 2 pieces. Again, it doesn't all line up exactly. So you want to make sure you add clamps to it vertically, and then you'll see it started separating up at the top and the bottom. So that's my suggestion, is to keep the clamps on the top and the bottom, and then 2 in the middle. And now I'm just going to start to decorate it. So I just took these picks that I had on hand. I believe they have something similar at the Dollar Tree. I don't know that I got them there. I might have gotten them at Walmart. So I'm just using all of them and cutting them up to fit and applying them wherever I see fit. You are going to want to spray some matte finish or sealer on it, or apply Mod Podge to it, just to make sure that your metallic finish doesn't scrape off of those tins, because if you do catch it with a nail or something like that, it will scratch up. And here is the finished project. I am so happy with the way it came out, but you'll have to let me know what you think, like I said, in the comment section below. For DIY number 3, you're going to need one of these rectangular signs, this adhesive cork sheets. You'll need 2 of them. And I ended up just using the twine, so you don't necessarily need the ribbon unless you want it to decorate with a ribbon or a bow. And you're going to start by peeling off that happy fall piece off the top. We are going to reuse that, so you definitely want to keep it in one piece. And then I'm just peeling off the extra paper to make sure it's a nice smooth surface. So there is little like glittery, I don't know what you would call them, but like sparkles on this happy fall piece. So all I'm doing is I'm just gonna sand that really quickly. And then I'm gonna go ahead and paint that piece with my linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Then you'll take your cork sheets and you are going to measure them by flipping them over and then, putting the sign on the cork sheets just to see where you have to cut them, and then simply just mark it with a pen or a pencil. From there, you're going to trim your pieces, and then you are ready to go apply them to your sign. Now, I will say the adhesive on the back of these it's really good. Like, it sticks really well, because you'll see I had to reposition one piece, and I kind of got nervous thinking that I wasn't going to be able to pick it up. so they do stick well. So make sure you do apply them nice and as evenly as you can, and butt up the joints as smoothly as you can. So you'll see some of the edges overlapped a little bit. So all I did was go in with my sanding sponge and I just sanded it down a little bit and it worked perfectly. Then I took one of these leaves I had some left over from last year, but I do believe the Dollar Tree has them this year. And it was a bright orange color and I just wanted it a little muted. So I'm just taking some of my Waverly Antique Wax and I'm applying that to the edges and all over just to make it a little bit more weathered. So now you're ready to apply your letters. I'm going to use my Cameo to do some vinyl lettering with this, and I'm just going to spell out Happy Fall. So the happy will go on the little white piece there that you see. And then I'm just going to take my vinyl lettering and spell out fall with the leaf being used as the A. So you're just going to rip off the back of that leaf and you're just going to apply your letters accordingly. Of course, you could use stickers from the Dollar Tree, as I said before, or use printables from your computer and just cut them out. Then you're simply going to hot glue that happy piece to the top of your sign and just a few dabs of hot glue on the back of the leaf and secure that in place. And then next, just for some added flair to the sign, I'm just going to take a little bit of twine and I'm going to wrap that around the top and the bottom of the sign. Like I said, you can add a bow or some burlap ribbon if you want it to do something different at the top just to give it a different look. But this is what I decided to do. And here it is all finished. I am so happy with the way this came out. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for joining me today and taking the time to watch my video. If you enjoy videos like this, please go ahead and click that like button so I know what you want to see. And I hope to see you all very soon. Go ahead and create your own kind of beautiful.